So, good day, everyone. I am Catherine Gandado, and I'm here to present this problem application for the subject refrigeration. So, the problem is an ammonia system. One evaporator is to provide 250 kilowatts of refrigeration at negative 35 degrees Celsius, and another evaporator is to provide 150 kilowatts at 8 degrees Celsius. The system uses two-stage compression with intercooling and is arranged as shown below. The condensing temperature is 42 degrees Celsius. Calculate the power required by the compressor and the COP. So first, let's identify the given. So we have the heat added at um, the first uh, e- at the first evaporator, which is 250 kilowatts at negative 35 degrees Celsius. And we have the heat added for the second evaporator of 150 kilowatts at 8 degrees Celsius, or the refrigeration capacity of each evaporator. Next is we have the temperature at each evaporator. We have the evaporator 1 of negative 35 degrees Celsius. We have the evaporator 2 at 8 degrees Celsius. And the condensing temperature at 42 degrees Celsius. So, for the required of this problem, we need to get the power required for each compressor, or the total power required for the two compressor. We have the low stage compressor and the high stage compressor. And we need to get also the COP. So first, let's draw the pH diagram. So here is the pH diagram starting at the point 1, then the point 1, which is the outlet at the evaporator, and will enter to the compressor. Here, this line, this isentropic line, and will get out at point 2, then enters to the intercooler, which is at 574.84 kPa, which is this pressure is from the evaporator, and then will enter to the second compressor, or the high stage compressor, and will leave at the point 4 with a condensing temperature pressure of 1645.1 kPa. Now, let's get the different values at different points of enthalpy. So we have the value, we need to have the value of H1, which is equals to Hg at negative 35 degrees Celsius. So we have H1 at Hg. Here, H1 at Hg of negative 35 degrees Celsius. Here's the Hg line, and here is the negative 35 degrees Celsius, and we get a 1415.20 kilojoules per kilogram for the value of H1. Next is the value of H2. So, for us to be able to get the value of H2, we need to have the value of the um, s- uh, pressure, which is at 574.87 kilopascal with a temperature at negative 35 degrees Celsius. So here, let's plot it into the pH chart, not pH diagram, or pH chart, which is we have the 574 kilopascal, this line, and then we have the negative 35 degrees Celsius, and connect it to the isentropic line, and the intersection of the isentropic line and the pressure line will be the value of our H2, which is our H2 is 1675 kilojoules per kilogram. This part here. So next is we need to get the value of H3, which is H3 is Hg at 8 degrees Celsius. So Hg at 8 degrees Celsius. Hg, here is the Hg at 8 degrees Celsius. I'm sorry for this na interchange. It was just interchange during my editing of this PDF. So the Hg at 8 degrees Celsius. So Hg and 8 degrees Celsius. This is the Hg line and 8 degrees Celsius. We can get the H3 of 1469.72 kilojoules per kilogram. Next is the value of H4. So the same as H2, the process will be, we will be getting the value of enthalpy at this point using our superheated or the um, pH chart, which is at 1645.1 kPa at 8 degrees Celsius. So at 1645 kPa and at 8 degrees Celsius, connecting it with the isentropic line and the intersection of the isentropic line and the pressure line will be at the um, 1620, and this will be our value for the H4. Now we already have the value of H4. We can proceed to get the H5 and H6 since H5 and H6 is just equal, so they have the same values. So to find this value, we need to get the HF at 42 degrees Celsius. So HF at 42 degrees Celsius. Here is the HF line and here is the 42 degrees Celsius. So H5 is equals to H6 is equals to 400.462 kilojoules per kilogram. Next is to find the value of H7. H7 is just equal to the H8. And to get this value, we need to find the HF at 8 degrees Celsius. So HF at 8 degrees Celsius. So here is the HF line and here is the 8 degrees Celsius. So we get 237.172 kilojoules per kilogram. Here, so it's correct. Next, we need to find the pressure 1 at evaporator 1, pressure 2 at the evaporator 2, and the pressure 3 at the condenser. I mean, so we get the 93.49 kPa for pressure 1. Pressure 2, we have 574.87 kPa. And for pressure 3, or condensing pressure, we have 1645.1 kPa. Now let's proceed to the solution of this problem. So first, we need to get the mass flow rate at point 1 using the refrigeration capacity given in this problem, which is we have the first refrigeration capacity is from the first evaporator. We have the QA1 is at negative 35 degrees Celsius. So we have this formula of mass flow rate at point 1 is equals to QA1 over H1 minus H8. So substituting to the this formula, so we get 250 kilowatts, which is equals to kilojoules per second over 1415.20 minus 237.172 kilojoules per kilogram. And then since it can be cancelled, the kilojoules, we can have a kilogram per second. So it means we get the mass flow rate at point 1 of 0.212 kilogram per second. Next is the mass flow rate at point 6 using um, the refrigeration capacity given at the problem, which is the refrigeration capacity or the heat added at the evaporator 2, which is QA2 at 8 degrees Celsius. So the formula will be mass flow rate at zero point 0.6 is equals to QA2 over H3 minus H6. So substitute, we have 150 kilowatts or kilojoules per second over 1469.72 minus 462 kilojoules per second. Again, cancel the kilojoules. Then we can get the mass flow rate of 0.6 of 0.1403 kilogram per second. Next, we need to make the heat balance at the intercooler, which is the concept will be energy entering is equals to energy leaving. We have the mass times H6 entering, and we have the M7 H7 leaving. So here is the concept. We have this mass, which is the entering part, which is mass times H6 plus the M2 times H2. The same entering at the intercooler, which will be equal to the energy leaving, which is the mass times H3 plus the mass times the mass H7, mass 7 times H7, which is the which are both energy leaving. So we can get, we need to substitute these values. We already get the mass at point 2, which is mass at point 2 is equals to the mass at point 1 and will be equal to and is equal to, mass at point 7 and mass at point 8. So substituting these values, we can get mass is equals to 0.2853 kilogram per second. And the value for this enthalpies are already here, so we need we can already substitute it directly. Next is we need to get the mass flow rate at the high stage compressor. We have the um, we have this intersection line at this uh, energy entering in the compressor part. So here we have the mass at the intercooler and the mass at the evaporator at point 6. So this means that the point 3 or the mass at point 3 or the mass at entering at the compressor will be the combination of the mass at the intercooler and the mass at the evaporator. So the formula will be the mass at point 3 will equals to mass at point 6 plus the mass at the intercooler. And we can get 0.4256 kilogram per second for the mass point of point 3. Now, we already have the mass of point 3. The next step will be getting the um, low stage power. We have a formula of mass at point 1 times H2 minus H1. And we will be getting a value of 55.129556 kilowatts. Next is to calculate the high stage power. We have the formula of mass at point 3 times H4 minus H3. And we can get a value of 63.9592 kilowatts. Next is we need to get the total power. So the total power will be the combination of the low stage power and the high stage power. So low stage power plus high stage power will be equal to 119.0887 kilowatts. And lastly, we can now get the COP value. So the formula for COP is equals to the combination or the summation of all the um, refrigeration capacity of evaporator over the total power of the system. So we can get the 250 plus 150 kilowatts of the true evaporator over the total power of 119.0887 kilowatts, and we can have the COP value of 3.3588. So that's it. Thank you.